I went on my phone so I could just screen capture.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, you fucking Nazis. They will not let you screen capture on my own phone on their app. I'm like, how are they? Wait, you can't tell me what I can take a picture of. I had to go and take these pictures.
Yeah.
Look how grainy they look. Fucking Disney.
But you can still see it. You can see little Mickey on the little pudgy bear. Super cute.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
All right. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We're going to watch a Disney movie again.
Yeah, we are.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks with Angela Lansbury
OG.
leaving, what is that place she lived in? Cabot Cove? No,
Cabot Cove.
Cabot Cove. Is it Cabot Cove?
Cabot Cove.
Cabot Cove. To go to England and play with some cartoons.
Correct.
What do you remember about this movie?
I remember this movie being very fanciful and very whimsical. And I remember it being a lot of fun. Now, I'd also like to preface that as saying that I haven't seen this probably since the early 90s. But that's what I remember. It was very fun and it was very full of fantasy and whimsy.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. I probably have not seen it since then either. I saw it on the Disney Channel. I probably saw it on The Wonderful World of Disney.
Mhm.
I definitely remember the Nazis and the cartoon, where they go into the cartoon part.
I remember the
remember.
cartoon part. I completely forgot about the Nazis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Nazis.
Wow. So many Nazis.
Yeah. Dirty Nazis.
Fuck the Nazis.
But I do remember liking this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was up there with like Mary Poppins and those type of movies. Yeah.
It was always fun to watch these movies that were kind of not in the norm, like it wasn't just like
no, these were definitely fantasy.
Yeah.
Kid fantasy movies. Yeah. All right, let's look at the box office. It opened October 7th, 1971. It had a budget of $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot for 1971.
Yeah.
But it only made $17.8 million at the box office. So it did not do well. But it did win an Oscar, I believe, for effects.
Makes sense. Also, this was probably the beginning of, because they did a little bit of animation with live action before this.
Yeah,
But
like Mary Poppins was 60-something.
This was also a lot more interactive between the live action and the animation. Whereas before they would have it like either side by side but this was more like tactile, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But I remember liking Angela Lansbury in this, and I would have saw this way before Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, yeah. No, Angela Lansbury is a G. Was it G? Has she passed away?
No, I don't think she has.
Right on. Oh, no, she did last year.
That's right, she did. Yeah.
Oh, but she's a G.
I remember that, yeah. Yeah, she
always
died,
has been, always will be.
Yeah, October 11th, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
She was born in 1925.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah.
She was a hottie too.
Yeah, when you see, you keep thinking of Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, but you don't
But like
realize
she was
she
in
was.
movies like 20, 30 years before that.
Oh yeah, she was like a super hottie back in like the 40s and 50s.
I know it's weird because I just keep thinking Murder She Wrote.
Mm,
All right, let's go to the tail of the tape. Bedknobs and Broomsticks was released in 1971. Is a kids and family fantasy rated G. Jesus Christ, 1 hour and 57 minutes long.
this is another long one.
Yeah, especially for a kids movie. That's a lot of time to
Yeah.
commit little kids to. Taglines: the most magical one of all.
Okay,
They talk
makes
about the
sense.
bed knob
Yes, that's exactly what they're talking about.
or the broomstick. The bewitching, bedazzling, magical musical.
Eh,
You'll be witched, you'll be dazzled, you'll be swept into a world of enchantment beyond anything before.
too many words.
That's it.
That's all you need.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks synopsis. All right. During the Battle of Britain, that's why there's Nazis, Miss Eglinton Price, Angela Lansbury, a cunning witch in training, yeah, that makes sense, decides to use her supernatural powers to defeat the Nazi menace. She sets out to accomplish this task with the aid of 3 inventive children who have been evacuated from the London Blitz, joined by Emilius Brown, David Tomlinson, the head of Miss Price's witchcraft training and correspondence school. The crew uses an enchanted bed to travel into Fantasyland and foil encroaching German troops. I know there were Nazis in it. I didn't think they were that big of a.
Disney is fighting Nazis.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, I think Walt Disney was gone by then.
Which would explain so much.
He was a bit of a sympathizer.
Yeah. Some people say he was just straight up, it was past sympathizing. He
Yeah,
was just a Nazi.
this script was sitting somewhere, and they're just waiting for him to die so they can make this movie.
They were like, "Oh, Walt's dead. I have a script."
Now we can make this movie. Oh, there's the poster.
Mm,
They're posters, like because we did Escape to Witch Mountain.
yeah,
They look like kids' books.
they really do,
Yeah.
which
And
I
for
can
those
appreciate.
listening, yeah, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it was fine back in the day. For those listening, it is Angela Lansbury riding a motorbike with a sidecar with the kids in it. The other guy is on top and he's with a whole bunch of soccer playing cartoons. But it looks like a children's
Mhm.
storybook. Not that that's.
No, it's just it's a nice little touch that Disney apparently did with his movies for
Yeah.
kids in the 70s.
All
Great
right.
marketing.
Yeah. Well, it didn't make any money, so not that great.
Yeah, but taking your kids to the movie wasn't a normal thing in 1971.
That's true. Certified fresh Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. 36 critic reviews has this at 67%. It's not bad. It's
No.
not as high as you would think,
Mm.
but 100,000 audience has at 74%. So audience liked it a little bit more. Critic consensus is Bedknobs and Broomsticks often feels like a pale imitation of a certain magical guardian and her wards. But a spoonful of Angela Lansbury's witty star power helps the derivativeness go down. My slide button was in front of that. So yes, when I was putting the things, there is a lot of comparisons to Mary Poppins.
To be expected.
Yeah. All right. If you want to start with the fresh.
Angela Lansbury's zany feature is just as enchanting as it was in 1971 and more radical than some may remember. Rebecca Long, Observer.
A fun, fairly intelligent, unexpectedly witty example of cinema for children at a time when the genre was at one of its lowest ever ebbs. Tim Bryant, Antagony and Ecstasy original score 7 out of 10.
It's a little uneven, but at its best, Bedknobs and Broomsticks rivals the joy and wonder of Mary Poppins. Richard Luck, Film 4, original score 4 out of 5.
Angela Lansbury shows off her singing, dancing, and comic skills, which I think even overshadowed the film Oscar-winning special effects. Betty Jo Tucker, Real Talk movie.
If Jessica Fletcher was a witch all along, you think she could have kept Cabot Cove a little safer. Pete Vonderhaar, Film Threat, original score 3 out of 5.
That was funny. Rotten. Has many moments rooted in movie magic, but there's also a whole lot of filler that brings the movie to a length that's more than bearable. Ryan Cracknell, Movie Views.
It's Disney and it has magic in it, but for me, it's a stretch to call the film magical. James Plath, Movie Metropolis, original score 6 out of 10.
I suspect the movie will be something of a long, uninterrupted sit for the very children for whom it's intended, and an even longer one for those parents and guardians, both adults and teenage, who will probably accompany them. Vincent Canby, New York Times.
The Disney organization is worst when it makes family entertainment and best when it sticks to pure, simple, charming fantasy. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score 2.5 out of 4. Damn, Ebert.
Yeah. IMDb. 40,000 user ratings have it at 7 out of 10.
Not bad.
Magical, whimsical, altogether special. Took me to another world, 10 out of 10. Linian Woodstock. Oh, frig, she's a hippie. Of course it took her. She's probably high when she watched it.
One of the most underrated live-action Disney films, 9 out of 10. Gavin, Lord of the Foo, 48460297.
It was high when he did that.
Oh, 100%.
Not bad for a B-grade Mary Poppins. 8 out of 10. Bad web diver.
Damn, just saying out loud like that. Sort of like Mary Poppins with Nazis. 7 out of 10, Snoopy style.
Some decent moments and a lot of filler. 6 out of 10. Plankton Rules.
When's it gonna end? 5 out of 10, norm.vogel@verizon.net.
Just
Straight up putting his email address in there.
I wonder how many people emailed him. Bewilderment and Befuddlement. 4 out of 10. Jay Wolfgram. There was no 3 out of 10.
There was no 3 out of 10.
There was no 2 out of 10.
Skip it. 1 out of 10, Wiley J. Jordan. He didn't mince his words.
And there was only 2 1 out of 10s. So, yeah, I got only 2 1 out of 10s, no 2s and no 3s.
That's not bad.
And to be fair, Disney does have a pretty good track, especially 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really making movies for kids.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck about the adults with them at that point. Now they care a little more.
Yes. And I think and Walt Disney, whether you liked him or not, he was very kid-centric. Like I remember reading things about he made movies that he wanted his kids to see, like his daughters to see. And so on that point, it was awesome because growing up watching Disney movies was awesome. Well, to me, I watched a lot of them. Here is the trailer for Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Elbow, henbane, aconite, firefly light.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Disney's wildest and most fantastic adventure.
Welcome to Naboombu Lagoon.
Only Disney could conjure up the fun and sorcery in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Let's have a nice clean game.
Bedknobs and Broomsticks. A bewitching fantasy about spells, black cats, and medieval armor brought to life by magic.
Stupid Nazi.
Walt Disney Productions presents Bedknobs and Broomsticks. you will believe a woman can fly. Almost.
Almost. What are your predictions for Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
I think I will like it. I don't think I'll love it though, but I think I'll like it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things that people were driving home was the length. But I'm not a kid, so I think I'm gonna like it too. It does look, the cartoon part looks funny. Those rascally Nazis look funny.
It's rascally Nazis.
They were
There's a
rascals.
phrase. Oh, such rascals. Such rascals.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably like it. I'm gonna try watching it with my kids and see which ones stick around for the 2 hours.
There's your rating system.
Yeah.
One
Yeah, see
kid.
how many. Yeah, one
kid stayed.
Yeah, no, I know all of them aren't, but here we.
Yeah.
All right, so we are gonna go watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks and come back and see if it was any good or as good as we remember.
Go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
All right, welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Did you go and watch Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
I did.
Your initial thoughts?
It's a very sweet movie and a lot less offensive than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it had the potential.
Yeah, it had the potential to be exceptionally offensive. And I was like, hey, not really offensive. A little misogynistic, but I mean, other than that.
Yeah, well, it was 1940 something.
71.
No, it was made in
1971.
1971. But it took place
Oh
in
yeah, well
World War
it
II.
took place during the 40s. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no such thing as Messiah. It was just normal life.
Yeah, no, it was perfectly normal to think that women were incapable of doing anything and that they wanted a man around. Yep.
My initial thoughts was it wasn't supercalifragilisticexpialidocious good, but I did enjoy it. The only song that came close to Mary Poppins level was Portabello Road.
Yeah. Which, by the way, still has a market to this day.
Portabello Road, does it
people
really?
Who live in the neighborhood are very, very rich. Yeah. Portabello Market. I think the last 2 times I went to. No, I went to it my first time in London. I don't think I went my second. Anyways, Portabello Market's a good time. Lots of different stalls. It's still actually, when I was watching it during that song and during that scene, I was like, other than the streets being cleaner, it's still pretty much the same.
Oh, cool.
Just a lot of like stalls on the street. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I it was a little long, but I had fun watching it.
Mm.
I get where some people were like, it's
Yeah.
a little long.
It was fun. It was light. Yeah. But it was a very sweet movie. Like I found myself smiling sometimes, just being like, so cute.
All right. So let us dive into this Disney classic. In August 1940, during the Blitz, for those listening, the Blitz was a German bombing campaign against the United Kingdom in 1940 and 1941 during the Second World War, meaning the Germans bombed the living shit out of London and everything in between.
Correct.
3 orphan children named Charlie, Carrie, and Paul Rawlings are evacuated from London to Peppering Eye near the Dorset coast, where they are placed in the reluctant care of Miss Eagletine Price, who agrees to the arrangement temporarily. Eggleton. That's right. That's a song about it. She agrees.
The only reason I know that.
She just says it okay, but she only does it for a temporary thing. Disney had the greatest talent of making the most dire situations like wars, shipwrecks, maroonings, parents' death seem not that bad. I like the kids. I like the older brother Charlie.
He gets on my nerves, but that's just because he's a little shit.
He's a shit.
He's
yes.
just a little shit, and I'm like I kind of get it. He's a shit. So I'm like, Charlie, stop being such a little shit. But other
the
than
acting,
that, I like the kids.
but the acting wasn't bad.
No, the acting was actually pretty good for the kids.
Yeah.
Especially the
children-
youngest one. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, he's pretty funny. The children attempt to run back to London, but after observing Miss Price attempt to fly on a broomstick, they change their minds. Other than the dinner menu, Mrs. Price's place was pretty sweet. Like a big house, seaside, tons of land.
Yeah. Outbuildings, like lots of space to run. And there was
Yeah.
food, just not food that was delicious.
Yeah, because she's almost
God
like
bless. I was
vegan or
like, is she a
something, wasn't she?
vegetarian?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like she just kept naming vegetables, and I was like, girl, that's not nice.
Miss Price reveals she is learning witchcraft through a correspondence school with hopes of using her spells in the British war effort against the Nazis, and offers the children a transportation spell in exchange for their silence. She casts a spell on a bed knob and adds only Paul can work the spell, as he is the one who handed the bed knob to her. Later, Miss Price receives a letter from her school announcing its closure, thus preventing her from learning the final spell. She convinces Paul to use the enchanted bed to return the group to London and locate Professor Emilius Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
how they made the traveling magic. It looks dated, yes, but it doesn't look as bad as, say, a Winnebago flying in the air a la Escape to Witch Mountain.
I think it's because they used, as opposed to like special effects, they used animation for this.
The light, yeah.
So that actually helped a lot with it because you already know it's a fantastical moment. It just makes it even more fantastical. So you're not expecting reality. You're not expecting it to look authentic. You're like, yeah, this is just all batshit crazy. Let's go. And I
Yeah.
like that. I like the use of animation added into the live action in this.
Yeah, me too. The group travels to Portabello Road. Portabello Road. I'd play it, but something tells me we'd get in trouble by playing the music. Did you find it like
Correct.
in today's
Yes, you
culture?
would.
Did you find it at all racist? Because I was looking at it going, I don't know. Does it look racist? To me, it didn't. I'm white.
And I'm spicy white. It didn't look racist, although they did. Because here's the thing, when you grow up in a very ethnic neighborhood, you do see certain stereotypes in life. So like, especially when like we were growing up in my early years, Kensington Market just still had a very strong Jewish presence, even though a lot of different ethnic groups had started moving in there, because before it was predominantly Jewish. But you still knew, okay, well, those are the Jewish people, those are the Caribbeans, those are the Portuguese, those are the Italians, those are the Polish guys, those are the Ukrainians. Like, you start to notice behaviors, patterns of speak and stuff like that. So that's why I'm not like, it was very accurate in like, okay, and this is what the Caribbeans would be doing, and this is what the Scots, like they had the Scottish soldiers performing and like all of that stuff. And you saw the snippets and you're like, yeah, those are the people who would have been there at that time. So that's why I was surprised it wasn't offensive, because they didn't, like, they acknowledged the stereotypes so that people could easily recognize these groups.
Yes.
And the diversity that was in Portabello Road, but they didn't play it up, and they didn't caricature them. Caricaturize? Sure, we'll do that. They didn't make them caricatures. We're going to go with that.
All right. To locate the old bookseller who gave Brown the book, revealing that the spell is engraved on the star of Astaroth. I think I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
a medallion that belongs to a sorcerer of that name. The bookseller explains that Astaroth experimented with his magic on animals, giving them anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism. I can't remember.
Morphosis? Or
Anthropomorphism.
anthropomorphism.
That's it. Anthropomorphism. Blah, blah, blah. They later killed the sorcerer, took the medallion, and fled to a remote island called Nabumbu. Now, earlier back at the house where Mr. Brown was squatting in the nursery, Paul finds a book called The Adventures of Nabumbu or something, Nabubu or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A 17th century Lascar had claimed to have traveled to the island, but the bookseller never found it. Paul confirms his existence by revealing a storybook he found in Mr. Brown's playroom. Oop, Wikipedia didn't cover it. Okay. They did cover it. And this might have been a little heavy for younger kids back in the day. Today's kids?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the group travels to Nabumbu and land in a lagoon. There, the bed goes underwater, where Mr. Brown and Miss Price enter a dance contest and win first prize.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I think the movie has a problem. It spends a lot of the time with the story, but for little kids, like it might be too much, even too boring. Like, although with the 3 kids, it might not be.
Yeah.
But this is where, as a kid, the movie starts to get good. Once they hit this lagoon, it starts to get fun from a kid's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah. I think there's a lot of buildup and there's a lot of story building up until that point. And then it goes straight into like, okay, and now we're a kid's movie.
Yeah. Just then, the bed is fished out of the sea by a bear who informs the group that humans are not allowed on the island by royal decree. They are brought before the island's ruler, King Leonidas, who is wearing the Star of Astaroth. Jeez, you think it was the fucking Lord of the Rings here. It's a cartoon bear. Leonidas invites Mr. Brown to act as referee in a football match. Very enjoyable cartoon violence. I loved all the different animals.
Yes. And all the animals were definitely behaving in the way they normally would.
Yeah, which
Ostrich
was
sticking
great.
their head down, orangutan like swinging from the goalposts, the elephant just using that trunk all the time. I was like, yeah, this is a lot of fun.
The hyena, was it the hyena cheated and showed the mouse to the elephant and made the elephant get scared and scored? Yeah, that was great. The chaotic match ends in Leonidas' self-proclaimed victory, but Mr. Brown swaps the medallion with the referee whistle as he leaves and the group escapes. Back home, Miss Price exercises substitutionary locomotion. I did that. I got it one time. Which imbues inanimate objects with life. However, they quickly get out of control. Very simple, but great looking effects. Even today, it looked fairly well. Yeah. And when they return, the amulet is destroyed, just so for people listening, because it comes from a different universe. And as they try to remember the words, Paul's like, I have it here in me book. They didn't even have to go to Nabubu.
Well, Paul's like, I know them.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know that before they went. They only knew afterwards. But Paul was like, I know the words. And then his sister's like, stop talking. She's trying to think. Be quiet. She's trying to think. And he's like, but I know the words. Nobody would listen. And then he says the words and everybody's like, how do you know? He's like, it's in my book.
Yeah.
Wish all of you had listened.
When Miss Price is informed that the children can be moved by another home, she decides to let them stay. Realizing she has come to care for them and vice versa, the children declare they want Mr. Brown to be their father. But Mr. Brown, wary of commitment, bids goodbye to the group and attempts to take a train back to London. Typical man. Little bit of responsibility pops up.
All of a sudden, when someone's like, hey, do you want to take care of these 3 kids that you've become really close to? He's all like, what, huh? What? I'm just going, there's a train, bye.
Yeah. I got to go to the store and get some milk.
Got to pick up a pack of cigarettes.
Let's So sorry, I'm just looking for my spot here on Wikipedia. I lost it.
Anyways.
Okay, here we go. Reaching the railway station, he finds there are no more trains until the morning, so intends to sleep on the platform's bench. A platoon of Nazi German commandos land on the coast via U-boat, intending to launch a raid on the town and invade Mrs. Price's house to use as their headquarters, imprisoning her and the children in the local museum. Those wacky Nazis are up to no good, I tell you. And those kids and her are pretty lippy toward Nazis.
Yeah, they got balls.
I could, yeah.
I mean, if you look at it from the kids' point of view, they're like, "What are these fuckers gonna do? Kill us? They've already killed all of our family. They've blown up our house. Fuck that shit."
Yeah, you're right. I could see the kids doing it, but Miss Price should have known better. They're lucky these were those nice Nazis. If they were the other ones, ooh.
I feel like Well, yeah, but I feel like Miss Price is socially awkward.
Yes.
Like, she's very much like, I don't care.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It wasn't realistic. You wouldn't want it to be realistic. One kid would already been shot, one dangling by their ankles over the cliff while they're slapping Miss Price around. Where are the Jews? Where are you? The sequel would have opened up with them in a concentration camp. Portabello Road. I wish I was still at Portabello Road.
That's terrible.
Charlie just shaking his head. You really are a shitty witch.
But yeah, no, they would have been killed immediately. What the fuck kind of accent was that?
That's me Cockney accent.
No, Miss Price and all the kids would have been shot immediately. Yes. That is not fucking Cockney.
No, I don't even know what
I'm gonna tell you right now.
All my family.
But yeah, they would have been shot. That's not the point. The point is, here's the real point. Your accent is terrible. Please stop doing that. And Miss Price and all the kids would have been shot immediately if the Nazis were like, "We're going to take over your house."
Yeah.
I was thinking about going to England next year for a vacation.
I haven't been there in so long.
Oh, I
was a kid. I was a kid last time I was there.
Oh, God. The food alone, so good.
I love British food. I love England's food.
Get food at the right place.
Yeah.
Me too. It's fucking delicious. There's nothing better. Nothing better than a really good fish and chips. But you got to get really good, like from a proper chippy. And then like bangers and mash. I love toad in the hole. So good.
Oh, I love toad in the hole.
And then a proper Sunday roast.
Yeah.
Proper Sunday roast.
With horseradish.
At a pub.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
They make me hungry.
Beef, gravy, roasties. Sorry. This is what I think about going there, buying chocolate and crisps, and then just eating.
Yeah. Okay. Now where am I? Looking for friggin' England shit here. So at the train station, Mr. Brown fends off two Germans cutting phone lines. He doesn't fend them off, knocks them both out with a super uppercut. That's how you did it back in the 40s.
Yes.
He heads back to Mrs. Price's house where he manages to perform magic for the first time and turns himself into a white rabbit so he can disguise himself to avoid Germans. First, he's spotted and locks himself into a giant and beautiful pantry. That's how old I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Right there with you, my friends. Right there with you.
But it is my dream to retire in a coastal town in England, outside of town, nice old British house by the sea, walk to the pub. Oh, that'd be heaven.
I love that idea. I would totally do it in England too.
I would even settle for like Maine.
I just have to find a rich British husband. I thought about Halifax. I thought about moving there.
Yeah, Halifax is nice. Well, I've never been. No, I've never been to Halifax. It looks nice though.
I've never been to Halifax either, but it definitely like most of the Maritimes has a very British, like Scottish Irish vibe to it.
Yes.
And I'm down for that.
Because I've been to New Brunswick on the ocean side. Awesome. just awesome. And they have like pubs and yes, it does have a very that whole England, Ireland feel to it.
Yeah, British Isles kind of vibe.
Okay, so where am I here? Da, 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 da. He finds Miss Price and the children at the museum and inspires Miss Price to use substitutionary locomotion to enchant the museum's exhibits into an army. This was a great finale.
So good. I loved it.
It really had scope. Like, I don't know how that many soldiers' uniforms and suits of armors all fit in that museum. They must have had a basement or something. But when it panned across the hilltop, like it was an army. And again, it looked good.
Yeah. It looked really, really good. I was actually really impressed with the quality of the graphics for this because it was done in 1971, but it was done so well. And part of me is also wondering if maybe they used some of the animators in order to make the graphics like or the special effects for the scenes that it was used in a little more seamless. So you didn't have
Oh,
like a
maybe.
big gradient between. Yeah. I have a feeling they did. I could be wrong about that. If anybody knows, feel free to let us know.
The army of knights, armor, and military uniform chases the Germans away, but as the Germans retreat, they destroy Mrs. Price's workshop, ending her career as a witch. Well, the battle lasted longer than that. This was very slapstick Three Stooges humor, just with Nazis.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was a wise decision not to actually use any swastikas in this movie. I mean, you knew they were Nazis, like seen one Nazi, seen them all. But
there was that time when they were talking to each other in German.
Yeah. All the gray suits.
Yeah, no, it was super clear that they were Nazis. Yeah. We didn't need to drive the point home. Yeah.
No, it was really well done. Though disappointed her career is over, she is happy she played a small part in the war effort. Why was her career over? Like, why did she have to stop being a witch?
Oh, because she also decided that now that her workshop was done and all of her spells had been incinerated, that she really actually wasn't that good of a witch.
Oh.
Because she didn't have the memory for it and she kept forgetting and her spells didn't last that long. So she was like, nah, it's better if I retire.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shortly afterwards, Miss Price has officially adopted and committed herself to raising the children. Mr. Brown has enlisted in the army and departs with the local home guard escorting him, but promises that he will return and shares a kiss with Miss Price. Okay, so Private Mr. Brown is like 54. Would they have taken Old Man Brown? No. 44, I think, was the cutoff. I mean, they draft, but 44 was the cutoff.
No. Yeah, but was he in his 50s?
Yeah, when he shot this,
watching this movie, I realized something. I was like, how old was he? Was 54, but how old was his character?
He looked 54.
Thing. Like, if his character was supposed to be 35. No, we all know.
Was he supposed to be 35?
Looked old. But then again, we don't know how old they're supposed to be. And really, can we just agree that it's a Disney movie? They're going to take him.
Yeah,
because he wants to help with the war effort.
I thought he was just going to march around town with those old guys that end up at the pub.
Well, first I was like, oh, he enlisted. And then he walks over to the old guys. I was like, or is he just walking around town? Is he in the home guard? Like, what's going on? Then I realized afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay.
Paul reveals he still has the enchanted bedknob, hinting they can continue on with their adventures. But the movie was not successful, so no sequel, although Disney wasn't into sequels back then. They started making sequels later.
Well, yeah, because they started, I think it started with, I think it was mostly trilogies started picking up. And they're like, oh, people want to see more of the same characters. So then they started doing, like, if one movie made enough money, they were like, okay, let's find a way to make a sequel, even if it didn't deserve a sequel. They were like, we'll do a sequel. And sometimes they made money, sometimes they didn't. But it was very much we can make money from telling stories about the same characters. Because I think in the 70s, there were quite a few trilogies. There were a few trilogies that people were like, oh, oh, we can, like, Star Wars started in the 70s, and then Jaws started in the 70s. What was the other trilogy? I think it was The Godfather in the 70s?
Yep.
So they were like, oh, multiple stories, like multiple movies about the same characters. Let's try and capitalize on that. But then what they don't realize is that these movies made sense to have sequels. Like, it made sense to have a second movie. Then
Yeah.
they started taking like one-off movies and they're like, we can force a sequel. And then we got a bunch of shit movies.
And that is our movie. What is your score?
Stream it. Stream it. It's a sweet, fun movie, a little bit long, but it's a good time. And I mean, if you want to teach your kids more about World War II, it's a gentle prompt for that. And it doesn't go too in depth and it doesn't get too scary. So you can kind of be like, well, you see, there was this big war and people were fighting and the Germans were the bad guys, but they're really, really sorry about it now. But it's a fun, sweet, nice movie. And is it super great? No. But can it still be enjoyable to be watched today? Yeah. 50 years old, and it's still a fun movie to watch, so stream it.
Yeah. All right, my score. This movie casts a spell on me. While not the best of Disney classic live action, Bedknobs and Broomsticks is definitely worth visiting. For a swim in Naboo Lagoon, a soccer game with King, what's his name? Can't pronounce, or those wacky Nazis. Or just to go back to Portabello Road. The kids were quite good and even humorous. Angela Lansbury was great. David Tomlinson was great. While a little long for some kids and some attention-challenged adults, the story putters along at a fairly good pace, and while a little slow to start, it does pick up quite nicely once you do get to Portabello Road. But I would say, officially, I would say it's worth a rental or even buying it at a discount. But if you have Disney Plus, it's there waiting to stream. It's a fun movie to go watch.
I think if you have the opportunity to buy it for, say, like $10 or less, do it. Because it's worth the investment. I think it's still a movie you can watch 5, 10, 15 years down the road to like the next few generations of kids. And I think it'll also be fun to kind of explain like, oh yeah, you see all the animated stuff that was all drawn by hand. And then they're going to like lose their minds at that and be like, there were no computers to do that. Some guy at a desk with a light.
Yeah.
Piece of paper.
Yeah, that's true. And that's another thing. Max, the HBO company or whatever, and a couple others have started taking their properties off their streamers to license out to other streamers. Like HBO has the Harry Potter movies, Warner Brothers, Max, whatever it is, and they license them out so it's not available on the streamers. If Disney ever does this, I will cancel fucking Disney.
Yeah.
They can do that
Disney's
with their
one
new
of the
shit.
more reliable ones where they're not necessarily. Yeah. Like, I think
Not their
Criminal
old
Minds
stuff.
right. Yeah, no, that's one of those things where I'm like, with Disney Plus, they're pretty steady. Like when one of their properties comes out, it goes on Disney Plus vibe. So it stays there. And I like that. The other day I went to go watch Mindhunters, not to be confused with Mindhunter, the high quality
Netflix
TV show or show, because it's a Netflix show. Yeah, that one's Netflix.
Yeah.
Mindhunters.
I love that show.
Is the really shitty movie from the 2000s about FBI profilers. The show, I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's
phenomenal.
incredible. The movie
Beyond incredible.
is ridiculously cheesy. I can't wait to watch it, but I need, like, this is what my holidays are going to be. Over the holidays, I'm literally just picking every single day. I'm going to watch something else that I've been meaning to watch and binge through, because that's what I do. But anyways, Mindhunters, I went to go watch it on Prime, and it had been on there for years. Now it's gone. And I was like, what? Can't even rent it. It's not even on there at all. And I'm like, but I want to watch Christian Slater and LL Cool J and Johnny Lee Miller and Val Kilmer's in it for a little bit too. I'm like, I want all of them. Then there's like 2 women in this, in which I'm like, that's just way to go, boys club, FBI, thanks. Anyways, that's it.
That's
So
why I'm
anyway, I got mad
considering
about that.
buying movies again, like ones I really, really, really want to have.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I actually just bought a DVD of Home Alone and Home Alone 2 because I was like, I
They're
love watching
awesome.
those movies at the holidays every year. And I'm like, I don't have it on DVD.
You know
So I
they
was
are
like, let me
on
get
Disney
that
Plus,
so that
though,
I
right?
never miss. Yeah, I know, but this is also, I have friends
Just in case.
who like to rent cabins and stuff, and I'm a just
Oh,
in caser too. I'm terrible about that. But I was like, I mean, I have a friend who has a cottage, and she has a DVD player up there. So like, I have a whole bag of like some of my DVDs that I'm like, I never rewatch any of these, so I'm gonna give these to you. Should be interesting.
all right. What were we doing? Okay. Anything else
Anywho,
on Bedknobs and Broomsticks?
we were pretty much done. No, it's just a really sweet, kind of fun movie. Like it was an enjoyable 2 hours of entertainment.
Yep.
Like I was not angry, I was not frustrated, I was not really bored. I was just like, with a little more editing, it probably could have been a little bit shorter, but I wasn't
Yes.
mad at it. It was a really nice way to spend 2 hours.
I agree. Well, then, thank you for joining us. And until the next movie we remember liking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.